The moment Mona walked back into the room, everything shifted. Whispers turned into accusations, loyalties cracked, and emotions ran high. What was said behind closed doors sent shockwaves through the family, and fans are shocked at how one decision completely changed the dynamic between Mona and everyone. The tension didn't start that day, it had been building for weeks, simmering under polite smiles and forced group chats. But when Mona finally spoke up, it was like striking a match in a room full of gasoline. Everyone remembers how close they all used to be. Mona was the glue, the one who checked in, organized dinners, smoothed over arguments before they exploded. That's why what happened next hit so hard. According to people close to the situation, Mona had been carrying a secret that affected every single person in the room, and when it came out, nothing was the same again. It all began at what was supposed to be a casual family gathering. Laughter filled the room, cameras rolling, fans watching at home with no idea what was about to unfold. Mona sat quietly at first, unusually reserved. Her eyes darted from face to face, as if she were measuring who she could trust. That alone made everyone uneasy. "Why are you so quiet?" one of them finally asked, half joking, half suspicious. Mona forced a smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I'm just tired," she said, but the tremble in her voice told a different story. Emotions ran high as the night went on. Side conversations started, glances were exchanged, and then, without warning, Mona stood up. "There's something I need to say," she announced, her voice shaking but firm. The room went silent. Fans are shocked at how quickly the mood shifted. One second it was light-hearted banter, the next it felt like a courtroom before a verdict. Mona took a deep breath, and with that single inhale, the dynamic between her and everyone else began to change forever. "You all deserve to know the truth," she said, "even if it makes you hate me." Gasps followed. Someone muttered, "What truth?" Another shook their head, already bracing for impact. And when Mona finally revealed what she'd been hiding, accusations flew, alliances crumbled, and the family was left divided, setting off a chain reaction that no one saw coming. Mona's words hung in the air like a storm cloud. For a split second, no one spoke. Then the reactions came fast and unforgiving. "What do you mean, the truth?" someone snapped, breaking the silence. "You don't just say that and drop a bomb like this." Mona swallowed hard. Her hands were shaking now, and for the first time, the tough exterior everyone knew began to crack. "I mean the truth about what's been happening behind the scenes. About the decisions that were made without all of you knowing." That's when the tension truly exploded. One family member stood up abruptly, chair scraping loudly against the floor. "So you admit it," they said, pointing at Mona. "You went behind our backs." "I didn't do it to hurt anyone," Mona shot back, her voice rising. "I did it because I thought I was protecting this family." Fans are shocked at how quickly the conversation turned into a full-blown argument. Voices overlapped, accusations flew from every direction. Some demanded answers, others demanded apologies, and a few just sat there in stunned silence, watching the family they thought they knew fall apart in real time. "What you thought doesn't matter," another voice cut in. "What matters is that you lied." That word, lied, hit Mona like a slap. Her eyes filled with tears, but she refused to back down. "I kept quiet because every time I tried to speak, no one listened," she said. "You all made decisions without me too. Don't act like I'm the only one who crossed a line." That accusation changed everything. Suddenly, the blame wasn't so one-sided. Old grudges resurfaced. Past arguments were dragged back into the spotlight. One by one, people began defending themselves, each revelation peeling back another layer of resentment that had been buried for years. "I can't believe you're doing this on camera," someone whispered, clearly shaken. Mona let out a bitter laugh. "Believe it," she replied, "because this is the real dynamic, and it's been broken for a long time." As the night unraveled, sides were chosen. Some rallied behind Mona, insisting she'd been unfairly pushed into silence. Others felt deeply betrayed, saying her actions crossed a line that couldn't be undone. The family was left divided, and the emotional fallout was only just beginning. And just when it seemed like nothing else could make the situation worse, someone dropped another revelation, one that suggested Mona wasn't the only one hiding secrets. The room froze all over again. "What do you mean, another secret?" Mona demanded, spinning toward the voice that had just spoken. Her heart was pounding now, not with guilt but with shock. A close friend, someone everyone trusted, crossed their arms slowly. "If we're telling the truth tonight," they said carefully, "then we're telling all of it." And Mona isn't the only one who's been playing both sides. Fans are shocked at how quickly the spotlight shifted. Murmurs erupted instantly. Someone scoffed, someone else gasped. The tension thickened as every pair of eyes locked onto the new speaker. "You don't get to do this," another family member snapped. "Not after what she just admitted." "Oh, I do," the friend replied coldly. "Because I've been blamed for things I didn't do, and Mona took the heat for choices she didn't make alone." Mona's head snapped up. "What are you talking about?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The friend hesitated, then dropped the bomb. "There were meetings you weren't invited to," they said. "Plans made to cut you out, financially, emotionally, publicly." Mona didn't start this, she reacted to it. Silence crashed down like thunder. The family was left divided in that moment. Some faces drained of color, others hardened with anger. One person slammed their hand on the table. "That's a lie, is it?" The friend shot back. "Check your messages, check the emails. You all thought she'd never find out." Mona's breath caught. Pieces were clicking together now. The sudden distance, the whispered conversations, the way people stopped including her in decisions she once led. Her eyes scanned the room, searching for denial. She found none. "So that's why," she said slowly. "That's why everything changed." Emotions ran high as the arguments reignited, this time sharper, more personal. Accusations flew in every direction. "You turned us against each other. You wanted control. You pushed her out first." Fans watching at home couldn't believe the reversal. Mona, once framed as the villain, was suddenly the wounded center of a much bigger betrayal. "I was protecting myself," Mona said, her voice breaking, "because I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how bad." One family member stood, shaking their head. "This is too much," they muttered. "I don't even recognize us anymore." And that was the moment everyone realized this wasn't just a fight, it was a fracture. Trust had been shattered, roles had been rewritten, and the dynamic between Mona and everyone else had officially changed forever. But the night wasn't over yet. Because as emotions spilled and alliances shifted, Mona made one final decision, one that would send shockwaves far beyond that room and leave fans questioning who would walk away next. Mona wiped her tears, straightened her shoulders, and did something no one expected. She smiled. Not a happy smile, a resolved one. "If this is how it really is," she said slowly, "then I'm done pretending." The room erupted again. "Done pretending what?" someone demanded. "Pretending we're a family," Mona replied. "Pretending loyalty still exists. Pretending I'm supposed to keep sacrificing myself to keep everyone else comfortable." Fans are shocked at how calm she suddenly became. It was as if something inside her finally snapped into place. One relative stepped forward, voice trembling with anger. "So what, you're just walking away now? After all this?" "I'm choosing myself," Mona said firmly. For the first time, that's when the panic set in. People started talking over one another. "You can't do that, you're overreacting. This will destroy everything." The irony wasn't lost on viewers, everything was already destroyed and they were just realizing it. A longtime ally grabbed Mona's arm. "Think about what you're doing," they whispered. "There are contracts, appearances, expectations." Mona gently pulled away. "That's exactly why I'm doing it." Emotions ran high as she revealed the final twist. Mona had already taken steps to separate herself completely, new plans, new boundaries, and a future that didn't include the people who betrayed her. The family was left divided not just emotionally but strategically. Some feared losing relevance, others feared being exposed next. "You planned this," someone accused. "Yes," Mona admitted, "because I learned the hard way that honesty doesn't protect you, preparation does." The room fell silent again, but this time it wasn't shock. It was fear. Fans watching at home flooded the comments. Some praised Mona for standing her ground, others questioned whether she went too far, and a few wondered what secrets were still lurking beneath the surface, waiting to explode. As Mona walked out, she paused at the door and delivered one final line that sent chills through everyone present. "This changed the dynamic," she said, "but it didn't start with me." And with that, she was gone, leaving behind broken alliances, unanswered questions, and a family forever altered, while fans are still debating who really crossed the line, and who will be next to fall. The door slammed shut behind Mona, and for a long moment no one moved. It was the kind of silence that screams louder than any argument. Then everything unraveled. "She can't just leave like that," one person finally said, pacing the room. "Do you have any idea what this means?" Another shot back, "This means she's done covering for us." That's when the real fear set in. Emotions ran high as the group splintered into frantic side conversations. Some were furious at Mona for walking out, accusing her of betrayal and manipulation. Others were shaken, realizing how much power she actually held, and how much they stood to lose without her. "We underestimated her," someone admitted quietly. Across the room, a family member sank into a chair, face buried in their hands. "She knows too much," they muttered. "If she talks, "Don't say that," another snapped. She wouldn't, but the doubt was already there. Fans are shocked at how quickly the narrative flipped. For years, Mona had been portrayed as emotional, reactive, difficult. Now, she was suddenly the calm one, the prepared one, while everyone else spiraled. The next morning, the fallout went public. Cryptic social media posts appeared within hours. One relative posted a vague quote about fake loyalty. Another shared a selfie with the caption, "Peace over chaos." Fans immediately connected the dots, flooding comment sections with theories, screenshots, and accusations. And then Mona posted, no caption, no explanation, just a single black screen with white text, "I told the truth. Do with that what you will." The internet exploded. Fans are shocked doesn't even begin to cover it. Comment sections turned into war zones. Some praised Mona for her strength, calling her the most real person in the entire circle. Others accused her of playing the victim and plotting the downfall of her own family. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, the damage was getting worse. Emergency meetings were called, lawyers were consulted, old contracts were pulled out and reread with shaking hands. People who once dismissed Mona as too emotional were now realizing she had been quietly holding everything together. She was the buffer, someone admitted during a tense discussion, between us and the public, between us and each other. Without Mona, cracks that had been hidden for years were suddenly visible. One family member tried to reach out to her, calling late at night. Straight to voicemail. Another sent a long message, apologizing, explaining, blaming stress, blaming misunderstandings. The message was read, no response. That silence spoke volumes. Emotions ran high as paranoia took over. Every leak, every rumor, every anonymous tip online felt like it could be coming from Mona, even when it wasn't. Trust eroded further. People started turning on each other, accusing one another of talking to outsiders, feeding blogs, or preparing their own exit strategies. The family was left divided more than ever. And then came the interview. A teaser dropped online, just 10 seconds long. No network name, no details, just Mona, sitting calmly, looking directly into the camera. "I stayed quiet for a long time," she said. "Not anymore." Fans are shocked at the restraint and the threat in her voice. Panic spread instantly. Is she going to expose everything? Someone asked. What if she names names? What if she doesn't and lets us destroy ourselves instead? That possibility hit hardest, because as the days went on, Mona still said nothing more. No interviews, no follow-ups, no explanations, just silence, and that silence forced everyone else to talk. And talk they did. Contradictions piled up, stories didn't match, old clips resurfaced, fans dissected every word, every glance, every past argument with new eyes. What once seemed like petty drama now looked like a pattern, and Mona was right in the center of it. By the time the interview finally aired, the dynamic had already changed beyond repair. Because whether Mona spoke or not, one truth was undeniable. She was never the problem. And now, everyone knew it. When the interview finally aired, it wasn't the explosive tell-all everyone expected. It was worse. Mona sat alone on a neutral set, dressed simply, no glam, no theatrics. Her voice was calm, almost eerily so. Fans are shocked by how different she looked, lighter, steadier, untouchable. "I'm not here to attack anyone," she began. "I'm here because I was blamed for things that weren't mine to carry." That single sentence sent shockwaves through the family watching from separate rooms, separate houses, separate realities. She didn't name names at first. Instead, she walked through moments fans thought they understood, arguments that were edited down, tears that were mocked, reactions that were labeled as too much. With every example, the narrative shifted again. "I was reacting to pressure you never saw," Mona said. "Conversations that happened off camera. Decisions made without me, about me." Emotions ran high as old clips rolled alongside her words. Fans immediately noticed the patterns. The interruptions, the eye rolls, the way Mona was constantly asked to just let it go. And then came the turning point. "I was told my role was to absorb," Mona said. "Absorb the blame, absorb the tension, absorb the fallout, so everyone else could look clean." The family was left divided watching that moment. Some stared at the screen in disbelief. Others looked away, knowing exactly what she meant. Backstage reactions leaked within minutes. One relative reportedly stormed out, calling the interview manipulative. Another broke down in tears, admitting they didn't realize how bad it got. A third went silent, no statements, no posts, no denials. Fans noticed that silence immediately. Fans are shocked by who stayed quiet. Online, the tide turned fast. Hashtags trended, old fan accounts rebranded themselves overnight. Clips that once painted Mona as unstable were now reposted with captions like, "She was gaslit," and "We missed this." But the biggest twist came at the very end of the interview. "I still love my family," Mona said softly, "but love without respect is just control." Then she dropped the line that changed everything. "I won't be returning." The host blinked. "Returning where?" Mona looked straight into the camera. "To the show, to the dynamic, to the version of myself they benefited from." The internet exploded. Within hours, statements were released, some defensive, some vague, some painfully apologetic. One family member claimed they were blindsided. Fans were quick to point out that Mona had been saying the same things for years, just without being heard. Behind the scenes, the consequences hit hard. Deals were paused, projects were reconsidered. Without Mona, storylines collapsed. The person once framed as the problem had been the emotional engine the entire time. Emotions ran high as emergency meetings were called. Someone reportedly said, "We need her back." Another replied, "She won't come back. She doesn't need us anymore." That truth settled like a weight. Mona, meanwhile, stayed quiet. No victory lap, no clapbacks, just one final post days later. Growth feels lonely when you're the first one to do it. The family was left divided, not just in opinion, but in future paths. Some began scrambling to repair their image. Others doubled down, refusing to admit fault. And a few quietly reached out to Mona, hoping it wasn't too late. Whether she answers or not remains unknown. But one thing is clear to fans watching it all unfold in real time. This didn't just change the dynamic between Mona and everyone. It exposed it. Now that you've seen how everything unfolded, the real question is, was Mona pushed too far, or was this inevitable all along? Emotions ran high, the family was left divided, and fans are shocked by how one moment reshaped every relationship. What do you think happens next? Does reconciliation stand a chance, or is this the final break? If you're invested in this drama, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. And most importantly, drop a comment below and tell us whose side you're on.